I missed something. Why aren't you allowed to drive?
Huh? I am allowed to drive. I'm a driver on the thing. So I bring that up. I'm like, yo. I said I am burp. I said, yo, I'm a driver on the little slip we filled out, so why don't I drive? You know, I mean, we're only 20 minutes out. Oh no, son, it's windy out here, and with this tall truck, you might crash because you don't know how the wind affects the truck. And this is, I'm like, all right, I don't want to drive. So he's driving the rest of the way, like, with his arms all shrunk in like this, because they got all cramped up last time. I could have sworn I seen a tear welling up too, but it didn't fall. So we finally get there. Drove all the way to Texas. I mean, hundreds or a thousand and some change. I think it was 1,200 miles. We get there and we're like, all right, we're here. Open up the garage. You know, we're ready to come in now. And they're like, oh, we don't get the house till tomorrow. So I'm like, and he was like, he goes like this. He's like, and he puts the phone down. And he looks at me. He goes, son, they don't get the house till tomorrow.
I've seen your dad make that face.
And he picks the phone back up. Okay, so what would you like us to do? All right, okay, bye. These stupid people, like, irresponsible, like, you name it, like, he was throwing it their way. And so, I'm like, yup, that's right, they're irresponsible, because it's like, what was I going to do? Like, I had to calm him down somehow. So he's freaking out. We got a 22-footer truck with a 2-axle car carrier, and then one thing I explained the other day with a 2-axle car carrier, you can't just whip it around, you know, because it's 2 axles. If you turn too hard, you'll break something. So, we're in a cul-de-sac. We're knocking on doors. Yo, we got to turn this truck around. Y'all got to move your car. We must have knocked on every door on the block. I mean, we cleared the whole block out of cars. Like, they must have thought we were going to rob all their houses while they were out, too. So, whatchamacallit, they move all the cars. We dropped the car, and we take off in the truck. And we're like, you know what? If somebody steals a car, they steal the car. You know, you shouldn't have stiffed us on a day. We would have took time to get here and actually stopped somewhere and seen the sights or whatever. And I would have bonded with my son and not been a jerk. Or I mean, maybe he was thinking that. I don't know. So we turn around. You know, we're driving, and so he's like, all right, son, look up a place on because the GPS has like features like nearest hotel or whatever. So I'm like, look, I'm looking up nearest hotel, and the first one on there is Joe Bob's. And I'm like, we in Texas. Joe Bob's Hotel, 0.5 miles. And the next one is Hampton Suites, 10 miles. I'm like, the nearest hotel is like 10 miles. I don't know what to tell you. Like, because I was just thinking, like, yeah, we would have went to Joe Bob's. It's one of them places, like, you lay in there and you look up and they're like, don't look at the camera. And you're like, wait, what did they say? What did they say? Like, so we get to the Hampton, and they're like, we pull in, you know, sure enough, I mean, I don't know, I guess, when you pull up to the hotel, you pull up right in, up in front, you're like, yo, we're checking in, so we pull up in front, you know, we're at the... I don't say that. Huh?
I don't say, yo, we're checking in.
Well...
just don't talk. Don't have good stories to Adam does, we won't hear you.
Look at him.
It was good.
We are ready to check in now. But meanwhile, we're still in hoodies and raggedy clothes, and my beard's all long. We took a bath, and so we get to this Hampton Inn, right? And then they look at us. You know, good evening. We're ready to check in. They go like this. They look at us, and then they go like this, and look at the truck, and then they go like this again, and they're like, we don't take trucks. I'm looking at them like, well, later for you too. Like, so we get back in the truck, and then I think some other inn, but this place was the Suites. So I was like, oh man, like it's gonna be all that, right? So sure enough, we pull the truck around the back, park it, and we just walk up, like we're off the street, like, hey, you know, we want a hotel. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, sign here and here. And it had to have been the nicest hotel. I mean, like, it was the best part of the trip. I mean, this hotel had, like, them beds that feel like you're laying on a cloud. You're, like, reaching for your harp. like, where's my harp at? I'm supposed to play harp while I'm up here. And you're laying there on your cloud, and it's got the duvet covers, like the ones that, well, me, like, the duvet covers is fancy for me with the feathers in it and all that. I didn't have that. I have, like, here's a thermal blanket that we give to the prisoners in prison. We had extra ones, so you can have one. Here's yeah, here's your cheese sandwich and a juice. So it was like the nicest hotel. I mean, their Wi-Fi was on point. Like, it was all of that. I mean, we had Hot Pockets for dinner that day.
What's that Hot Pocket?
It don't even matter, ham. Nah, that's how I told you yesterday. It was so, you know, it was nice. I mean, he's sitting there. He was like, yeah, I mean, he's happy now because he's in bed. We're watching TV, you know. And, you know, he's like, well, you know, they were irresponsible. But if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have been in this nice hotel. And I'm looking at him like, if it wasn't for me, we would have been at Joe Bob. So sure enough, we fall asleep. You know, I fall asleep on my cloud. I pick up my cloud, still hovering around. We go down, and they have, I mean, their continental breakfast was all of that. They had like the little waffle maker.
That was at the other one.
The nightclub.
That was at the other one.
That's later. Let me tell the story.
Yo, shut up.
So, what do we call it?
Breakfast.
So, it was one of them nice continental breakfasts with the little, like, you go up to,
Ow, stop.
you know those coffee machines that got in Wawa, you press the button and the coffee comes out?
Yeah.
Well, it was like that, but it would pour you, like waffle batter.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, and you go over to the little waffle maker and you put your waffle
And then you
maker
flip
in,
it.
and you flip it, and you sit around and wait. You know, and then it goes ding, and you're like, oh man, my waffle must be ready. You know? I'm smiling like this big. People are looking at me like, oh, like, that's all he does in hotels. So I mean, my waffle. I mean, the complimentary newspaper, right? I'm gonna read my news. I don't even read the newspaper. I'm reading the newspaper with my thing, my little cup of juice, and you know. Right? Watching the news, I don't watch the news either. I'm reading the newspaper, watching the news, making sure it says the same thing. So, you know, we leave. We're heading back to the house. We're not too far from the house. We're 2 miles from the house. The truck starts going beep, beep, beep. I'm about to break down. Beep, 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 beep. So I'm like, oh, this is great. So we pull over the truck. We're like, all right, you know, truck people. Penske. Mr. Penske. Our truck broke down. You need to come help us, right? And so sure enough, the truck dude shows up. He's changing every filter and hose on the whole thing. You know, I mean, he's dusting off the seats like with a little brush, you know, collecting it, and it's like, man, what's this guy's problem? So sure enough, he spends like an hour and a half on this truck, and then he's like,